if you are saying, what the fuck is going on? Why is everything going wrong? Then you're going to love today's special tarot reading. If we haven't met before, welcome to the channel. My name is Francisca. I'm the owner of Breathe, Connect, Thrive, a healing studio here in Houston, Texas, where I help people breathe through deep emotions with conscious connected breath work. I've been doing a lot of that recently for myself. Restore your mind, body, heart, and soul in restorative yoga and get some clarity through tarot readings. I do both conscious connected breathing and tarot online. I also offer a chakra balancing breathwork journey to help you clear your energy. And I do that both virtually and in person. But I am like, everything has been like upside down, right side up. And I know that there's 7 planets in retrograde right now. So retrograde is a time for all the re's, like revisiting, reimagining, restoring, even replenishing. But I feel like there are regressions. I feel like there's a lot of things going on in my life right now, from unexpected financial things happening to getting my dog's tail stuck in the door and he had to get part of it amputated, to somebody hitting my car head on and getting into an accident and then taking off. So there has just been a lot of stuff going on all within the last 2 weeks actually. So Tuesday, the thing happened with my dog where he had to get his tail amputated. That was last Tuesday. And then this Sunday, the accident. And so I have also been finding that there have been miracles attached to the underside of that. So I got so much support from my family, which I'm super grateful for, with a lot of the things, some financial and some just support, which really means a lot to me. But also like the thing with my dog, like there was another issue that they found when they were getting ready to amputate. And so that was great. I'm waiting on results now. But then with this accident, you know, I had my family support me and it just feels so good to be supported. And so I understand that there is growth happening for me now. And I think that sometimes when we're in these situations where it seems like everything is falling apart or everything is going wrong, we can deflect into like, what the fuck is wrong with me? At least that's my first default. Like, how did I create this? How is my energy a match to all the things that are going on? But sometimes there are parts of us that know that maybe we're not headed in the right direction. And this could be very well the universe asking us to slow down. My thing is that how do you know when to slow down? And how do you know when you need a pivot? Or how do you know it's just a hard time right now and you just need to slow down and then keep going forward? So I thought it'd be a really great time to do this special tarot reading. I was going to do a different video today, but then I kept getting stopped by trains. And so I'm just like, I don't have time for that video. I missed last week's video because of everything that happened with my dog. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna follow what I need to follow in my heart, because that's one of the action cards that I pulled for myself when I did a similar tarot spread for myself. So I'll share, if you're in my newsletter, be sure to check the newsletter for this on Friday, but I'll share the actual spread that I did for myself. It is about 8 cards. And so I can't do an 8-card reading in these videos because I have a limited time. But today's video is going to be a 4-card reading. I'm not using crystals. I normally do, but I'm like, we just need to go with the flow and we just need to go with what feels right. And right now what feels right is using the tarot deck that I have here, which is the Everyday Witch Tarot for each of these readings. But for the readings, I'm using also oracle cards for guidance, for the action and the guidance from the universe. And that is going to be, the first deck is going to be the Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. Your second deck, if you choose it, is going to be Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. And then the third deck is going to be the Sacred Creators Oracle deck. So if you have something going on in your life and you're like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what to do right now. Then you can decide if you want to sit through all of these readings or pick one. Or you may have, like me, multiple different things going on in different areas of your life. And you may want to listen to all of them and see how they apply to your particular situation. Keep in mind that these are general readings. So if you do want a more personalized reading, be sure to click on the link in the description box below to book your tarot reading either in person or online. And you can always put in the comments section like what you want to do a reading on. So sometimes people come to me for general readings, and I'll do my general mind, body, spirit, love, expected, unexpected, and action spread, and then we go a little bit further. But also sometimes in these sessions, like there's something in particular that you want to discuss, and I'll create a special spread for you. So if that is you, and if you wanted to get a personalized reading, please click on the link in the description box below so you can book your in-person or virtual tarot reading. So let's get into it. For the first reading, I'm using the angels and ancestors for the oracle part of the reading. So the first card is, what is the reason that you're coming up against these blocks right now? What is the reason that everything seems to be going wrong at this time, right? Second card is, if there's a lesson, what might that lesson be? Third card and fourth card, we're using the oracle deck. So for the third card, it is, what, if any, action is required of you in this moment? Ooh. And the fourth card is, what is the guidance from the universe? Or is there something else you need to know or be aware of at this time? Okay. Ooh, okay. I see. So the reason card is the first card I wanted to pick up. It's actually the card that I have in my hand. I also want to talk about the possible lesson. I'm feeling a little called out. So I'm just going to go with what my heart is saying here. Planning could have been the reason that this is happening. Maybe there wasn't proper planning on either your part or someone else's part, but also, like, I also feel like there's also some legal stuff maybe happening too. Maybe there's some legal stuff that got in the way of the King of Swords. Some enforcement stuff, some things that need to be enforced or reinforced for you. Maybe this is a way to think a little bit more logically versus a little bit less with your heart and less with that passionate side of you. But I feel like the reason that this could be happening is also to place things into order, to have things in all your I's and T's dotted before you move in a little bit further. I feel like this is also something that's saying, oh, they're saying that this is a little bit more on the path. The first part is like a little bit of blaming. So maybe you're feeling, or I could be also feeling like I could have planned things a little bit differently, but maybe it's also like when you have things laid out in an orderly fashion, it is easier for you to stay on the path. Because when you don't know where you're going and you're lacking direction, it can be a little bit more difficult to get there. And so if you could see, if I could get this into focus, if you can see here, he's got his sword and he's got like the book and it's all laid out and he's like pretty confident that he's going to go forward. But if you look behind him too, there's all these books. So you have all the experience that you need to move forward. I feel like the reason that this is happening is not just lack of planning. That may be part of what you're thinking, but it's maybe future planning for other things. The lesson, the Seven of Wands, feeling like you have to defend yourself, feeling like you have to defend your ideas, feeling like you have to defend your passion. Who are you trying to defend the passion to? Like, is this something that you're trying to defend? Are you defending it from yourself? Or are you defending yourself from your passion? So I feel like the lesson that's here for you is to know that you don't have to defend yourself. Standing your ground doesn't mean having to defend yourself. Your choices, your actions, your feelings, what you really want out of life, how you really want to work in life. Okay, the action for you is to see your seeds grow, spring. And the guidance from Source is the Shield Maiden, make plans and focus. So I think it's really interesting that you start off your reading with the King of Swords, and then you end the reading with the Shield Maiden, both having swords. Again, I feel like this is a preparation time for you. I feel like the reason that this is happening is because it's preparing you for something, especially because it's like see your seeds grow for the spring. So I'm going to read directly from the guidebook here. I'm just laughing because of this first sentence here. So the message is embrace the change that's on the horizon. Allow your dreams to become reality. Spring is an exciting time because it has so much potential. Animals are coming out of hibernation, flowers are pushing through the soil, and the days are getting lighter and brighter. The spring card features a wild hare because in Celtic animal medicine, the hare brings intuition and rebirth. Hares are highly fertile beings, and so their medicine can bring dreams to life. You are ready to bring to life all of your ideas, inspirations, and projects. When this card appears, you are moving into a space that allows you to really grow, expand, and create in a way that you've never done before. These are opportunities for abundance, including financial growth, and if you're starting something new, to prepare for major expansion in your life and soul. When this spring card arrives in the future position of a spread or as a last card in a reading, it can also indicate that the coming spring will usher in important energies and in regards to your questions or your intentions. So again, kind of like I said before, with this might be preparing you and like kind of paving the path for future things and kind of laying things out for you. This might also be a time for you to reimagine how you want things to work and maybe create some more structure in your life. I feel like this is a call for you to create some structure. Like if you do get this thing that you want, if this is like where everything's going wrong and there's something that you aren't getting that you do want, and if this thing is, when this thing comes into your life, it needs to come into your life for you to be hitting the ground running, because I feel like this is something that grows fast. So like in the springtime, like maybe you're walking somewhere and you're like, okay, everything's dead, and you don't yet see that things are peeking out underneath the surface. There's so much growth underneath the surface, and it isn't until like maybe one day, a couple of days later, you're walking by and you're like, oh, it finally bloomed. And it almost seems like it came out of nowhere, but the truth is that the soil conditions had to be right. The sun had to, shine enough for the plant to receive the light, the wind conditions had to be right. Like there are so many factors that go into it. I feel like Source is really asking you right now to just focus on the factors that you can focus on. Focus on those things. Focus on those things and be analytical about it. Like if you're someone who's really heart-centered and really intuitive, that's great. But I feel like you're also being asked to be analytical, to have some discernment, to filter things out, to single things down to focus yourself in one direction, and not to put all your eggs in one basket, but to work as much as you can on the things that you can control. So the guidance from Source is Shield Maiden. So let's see what the universe has to say about your guidance. All right. So Shield Maiden, have a plan or strategy in place before moving forward. So I really feel like this is these setbacks that might be happening for you is so that you can create a plan. Sometimes we need a retreat so that we can regroup, and in that regrouping we can decide how we want to move forward. The Shield Maiden is a female knight in shining armor. In Viking traditions, women were seen as equal to men, and so they joined them on their raids and fought with them on the battlefield. In this deck, the Shield Maiden brings a fiercely feminine energy, the power to be a warrior while retaining feminine sensitivity. She is ready to put her plan into action. She's ready to go into battle. Her medicine helps us move beyond any unsettled feelings when our plans start to take shape and follow through with our strategies in order to be where we want to be. Shield maidens work together in times gone by to create shield walls of protections. So she also shows us how to work with others in order to bring our plans to fruition. Take some time to assess what your next steps will be. All great warriors have a plan. Yep. You are a sensitive being, and if you're not prepared for the task you're taking on, you could end up feeling exposed and helpless. So this is feeling exposed and helpless here with the Seven of Wands. Oh gosh, okay, I love this. Okay. The ancestor guidance that's coming up to you now is a reminder that you have a warrior's heart and you have it within you to be more prepared and focused than you have been recently. Oh my gosh. So have a strategy in place and let your guides support you as you move forward. So your action is to see your seeds grow, to prepare, really to prepare. And the guidance from Source is to make plans and focus. So if it wasn't clear with the King of Swords and the Seven of Wands, like you don't want to be exposed. That is the lesson here. The lesson, this makes so much more sense now. The lesson is not feeling like you have to defend yourself, because when you have a plan, A, B, C, D, and E, this doesn't mean like kind of like think of all the scenarios and work them all, flesh them all out. But having a backup plan can really be helpful, especially when you're not sure how things are going to work out. And the truth is that as much as you plan, you don't know what will happen. But what you can do is have your mental capacity ready for when it does. Because when things happen that are out of our control, there are so many variables, right? And when something like that happens, having a backup plan is really great so that you have a shortcut to that backup plan. You might be discombobulated for a few seconds or a few moments or maybe even a few weeks, but then you remember, oh, I have a backup plan. So have your backup plan ready. This is getting you ready for major expansion, I believe. I believe that what this period in your life is, this dark night of the soul, if that's what you're going through, is really time for you to get prepared for your next up level. And I feel like you have to make those plans. The universe is saying that you have to make those plans. Spirit is asking you to watch the seeds grow. You may be really tired of watching the seeds grow, but especially if like things have been going wrong and there's been like a domino effect of things, I feel like this is the time to sit and like regroup and replan and reimagine and really look at the best case scenarios too. So we can look at the worst case scenario sometimes, but I feel like the universe is asking you in particular to look at the best case scenarios too and create a backup plan for those best case scenarios. Sometimes we only create backup plans for what can go wrong. We don't often place backup plans for things that can go right. And when we can place those backup plans for things that can go right, this can also help us. So sometimes we ourselves, I'm very guilty of this, don't know what to do when things go right. And it's just like you get stunned and surprised. At least I get stunned and surprised when things are going right. And I'm like, yay, this is everything I wanted. And then I'm like, but what do I do now? Because I don't have a plan for moving past the things that I wanted. I don't have a vision after that. And so I feel like you're also being called to cast a longer vision, like a wider net, and like kind of go down those avenues of the net. Yeah, I really feel like that is one of the things you're being called to do. So that was the reading for angels and ancestors. Moving on to the Work Your Light reading. So again, 4 cards in this reading. First card is, what is the reason that shit's getting fucked up in your life? Second card is, if there's a lesson, what is the lesson for you to learn here? Third card is, what is the action you need to take? And we're asking the Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. And last card is, what is the guidance from Source for you? Ooh, I looked at it. Really exciting. Okay. So interesting. Okay. So this is really interesting because in the first reading it was 7 of Wands, and in this reading we have 7 of Swords as the reason. Whereas before she's like this, like protecting herself from 7 Wands coming at her or 6 Wands coming at her. This is someone who's taking. And so something may have happened in the middle of the night, like unexpectedly to you, or maybe you could have been the one on the deceptive end of it. You may have either been deceptive to others or deceptive to yourself, or people could have been deceptive towards you. So the lesson here is, I feel, authenticity. Ooh, really starting to be true to yourself. What is it that you really, really want? The reason that this is happening, this is a definite up level for you, the world. This is a new cycle that's beginning for you. Not a new cycle of shit going wrong all the time, but a new cycle of feeling free and carefree and you know, just like, you know, over the hump. It feels like you still have a bit more to go, especially because your work is to create your boundaries. Your work is to establish those better boundaries. The guidance from Source is inner temple. Tune into the portal of your heart. I feel like all of this is happening so that you can move on to a different phase where you're really tuning into your heart more and less about focusing on the bad stuff that's happened in the past, or what people were doing for you or to you, or what you may have been doing to yourself too. So I also feel like this could be something like that you're doing to yourself, or you have done, or you did to yourself in the past. You might even be punishing yourself for something that you put up with in the past. And if that's the case, know that this is a time for up-leveling. Know that this is a time to move beyond that. Know that this is time to feel good about yourself. Often when we either have been at the hands of deceit, or we have been the ones that have deceived ourselves, we have a hard time forgiving ourselves, and we have a hard time creating those boundaries because either our boundaries are way too extravagant, or they're non-existent. And it is difficult when you create boundaries, I know, and it could be a really lonely place when you create those boundaries. But also when we cross our own boundaries, that's just a different place to be in. I've been in all of those places where I had like really strict boundaries. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And I've had times where my boundaries were really, really fluid and flexible, and like I couldn't tell where I ended and someone else began. A little bit of codependency there. But I've also been in a place where I've had healthy boundaries, and recently I feel like that is where Spirit is asking you to go, to have this place of healthy boundaries. Recently you've been inundated with a lot of questions about whether is this what you really want. Is this what you really want? So if you're being presented with an option and it doesn't feel like it could suit you because of the boundaries that you have in place, I wonder if Source is asking you, do you really want to settle for that? Or is this something necessary for you to do? Is this a hard thing you have to do? Because if it's a hard thing that you have to do in order to get to the place where you need to get to, that's one thing. But if it's something where you actually do have more choices and you don't have to do that thing, then maybe that's where the boundaries come in. Like maybe you can take this with some boundaries. But let me read what the guidebook says in regards to this, and then we'll go a little bit further. All right. Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? You're being called to create clear boundaries in your life. This could be with your friends, family, or work. Saying yes when you really mean no leads to resentment, which is the biggest energy drain ever. Okay. At first, it might be only a little bit and not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you are left feeling depleted, resentful, and taken advantage of. Saying no and having clear boundaries is actually a spiritual act. The most giving, loving, compassionate people are those with the clearest boundaries. For when they say yes, they're able to give unconditionally. When your boundaries are clear, others know where they stand and where you're able to give freely. If you're not clear where your boundaries lie, this causes confusion, resentment, and energetic cords to be planted. If you're saying yes when you really mean no, you are likely needing something for yourself. Ask yourself, what part of me needs something from them? It could be a need for approval, a fear of being seen in a certain way, or a fear of loss. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your belly. Your belly is a second brain. It has an intelligence known as your gut feelings. Tune into this space when deciding what is okay for you. How does it feel? What is it trying to communicate to you? Where in your life do you need to establish better boundaries? Yeah, I feel like the Seven of Swords is a symptom of the boundaries. I feel like that's where the lesson is. The lesson is in that Seven of Swords energy of deceit and not being authentic. And you know, the thing about boundaries is that we're not being authentic when we're not true to our boundaries. We say yes when we really want to say no. That's deceit. You know, when we're like people pleasing, we're doing stuff for other people so that they can like us. What is it that I need from you? I need you to like me. I need you to approve of me. I need to put myself out so that I can put you on. And so that is a level of deceit, you know. And one of the things that I found, and one of the things that a lot of my clients find, is that when we do start placing boundaries in our lives, people get really pissed. They can get pissed because we're doing something different than what they'd want us to do. But sometimes they get pissed because we weren't being honest with them about how we really felt. And it does take someone with some emotional intelligence to be able to be honest and upfront and say, well, why didn't you tell me? Like, you know, I wish I would have known. And then for them to be mad about it and be honest with you and be like, you know, that really pisses me off that you said that you wanted to do that when you really didn't want to. Let's talk about that. Now, that, for some people, depending on your situation, can be an exception, could be a rare exception. But I actually have had people who are emotionally intelligent say that to me when I started creating these boundaries. And I didn't realize that I was being deceitful when I was saying yes and I really wanted to say no. And it did create this kind of backlash for me. And so if that's something that you're scared of, know that it's okay to create those boundaries, because that's really going to allow you to up level and also tune into the portal of your inner temple, into the portal of your heart. So I'm gonna go ahead and read from the guidebook for that one too. All right. I also, about this reading, really want to say that I feel like this is a spiritual up level. So if you've had problems with kind of planning stuff, like all your plans going wrong, and then having a spiritual crisis or spiritual dark night of the soul, I feel like this is for you too. So devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. You are being called to be a devoted student and tune into your heart, to incorporate true devotion into your life. You could be being called to develop a regular meditation, journaling, and chanting practice, or to show up to your soul with rhythm, to develop a daily practice where you fill up your well and spend time with your soul. All of the answers to all of the questions that you're seeking are waiting for you in the portal of your heart, but you cannot hear them unless you carve out time each day to listen. Your soul is yearning for a deeper relationship with you. Yep, this is a soul up level for you. And so the more time you spend with it and show up to it, the more clearly it will guide you. We are here to grow as souls. Each one Earth is one big playground for the soul to learn, and you are being called to go deeper in your soul growth or to increase your devotion by being a student of a lineage or a spiritual teacher. If you have already been a committed student, then you are being commended for your devotion. Your guides want you to know how proud of you they are, and at this time, and the time you spend in devotion is priceless. If you are questioning your career or life path, your guides want you to turn your focus towards devotion and this prayer. Please use me in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. May my life be one big moving prayer. And your action in this card is to commit to a daily devotional practice. Yeah, I really feel like this is a soul up level for you. This is like a new cycle for you, a new cycle where you don't have to feel like you're being deceived or you're deceiving others. A new cycle where you can feel a little bit more carefree, where you can feel a little bit more expansive, where you can feel a bit more in this energy of the world, you know, carefree. You know, everything's good. We're all good. You know, my family's good. I'm abundant. I have plenty of food on the table or on the sand blanket, as it were. I've got all my needs met. I have a freedom of time. I have freedom of space. I have freedom, financial freedom. And that can only come when we're really true to ourselves, when we are really saying yes to us. If you're like, I want to say yes to me, and I want to say yes to my soul, and I want to tune into the portal of my heart, then you'll want to check out the Chakra Balancing Breathwork Journey. This is an 11-session journey where I'll guide you one-on-one. They're 2-hour sessions. We mix breathwork and coaching and Reiki and restorative yoga and tarot. And we find the best way to clear your energy, but we also go through all of your blocks, your limiting beliefs, your core desired feelings. Those are not blocks, but we really look and see, like, how do you want to feel in life, and how can we make goals based on that? You know, oftentimes people are like, I just want to find my passion, and that's great. And, you know, I was like that too. Or I just want to know how to clear my energy, and that's great too. But it's like, how is clearing your energy best for you? Which types of modalities can you use that'll best serve you? Because I can give you a ton of modalities. I can help you figure out all of the ways that you think you want to show up in the world, but that doesn't do anything for you unless you know that it fits you, that it's something that's right for you. And so that's what we do in the Chakra Balancing Breathwork Journey. These are one-on-one sessions. Again, we do about an hour of coaching, and then we do about an hour of some modality, whether that's breathwork, restorative yoga, Reiki, or tarot. And we can do that in person or online. This also includes some homework that you'll have to do in between sessions. And we'll start off with weekly sessions at first, and then we'll move to bi-weekly and then monthly. So it could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So this is an investment of your resources, both your time and your finances. And I want to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. So check out the link in the description box below. And if you feel called to explore this a bit more, go ahead and fill out the application form, and we can have a conversation about what it might look like if you join the Chakra Balancing Breathwork Journey. The call is free. It is about 45 minutes where we can discuss, like, if this is the right thing for you. Because again, I want to be mindful of your time and my time and your resources. So not everybody will be a good fit. And I do have a couple of spots open up. And if this is something that you're interested in, you will want to sign up before the end of this month. We're in September now. We're mid-September. The price is going up in October, and the reason that the price is going up is because I have found that there is a lot of support that goes on in between. So sometimes there's email support, sometimes there's Voxer support, and yeah, so the price is going up in October, and I do have a few spots left for September. So click on the link in the description box below if you're ready to up-level your life and continue your spiritual journey in a way that feels good for you. So moving on to the final reading for the Sacred Creators Oracle deck. So again, we're asking 4 questions from Spirit. We are asking, what is the reason that everything is going wrong for you right now? If there's a lesson, what lesson might that be? We're asking for an action item. What is the action that you'll need to take? And, as always, what is the guidance from source? So interesting. Okay, I'm like really excited about this because it's like the reason that this is happening and the lesson. 7 and 8. 7 and 8, 7 and 8, 7 and 8. Okay, I love this. So the reason that this is happening is you have way too many choices. It's time for you to single it down. And it feels like you want to choose with your heart, because she's got her hand right there above the heart. But there are so many choices, so many ways this could go, right? There's so many ways. Okay, there are so many ways that this could go, right? She's got her hand at that heart. You choose that castle in the sky. You could choose the plants, you could choose the fire, you could choose the book, you could choose the pentacles, you could choose the cosmos, you could choose the earthly possessions. So many ways that this could go. You might also be building castles in the sky, maybe not wanting to take a choice on something that could be a potential fit, but it doesn't feel right. And because it doesn't feel like it doesn't check all the boxes, not that it doesn't feel right, because it doesn't check all the boxes of the things that you want. So you're like, no, I'll wait for something better. No, I'll wait for something better. No, not that. This. No, almost, but not quite. And so it feels like there's like this choosing of things. The lesson, if there is a lesson, is to leave things behind that don't serve you and really choose to go into one direction. So these cards happen right after each other in the journey of the Fool of the Tarot, right? It's like all these choices, and then she's like, you know what? Even though these cups are full, I don't need them. I choose me. I choose me instead. And so this is a really like a choice of you for yourself. And I feel, again, choosing with your heart. She's leaving, but she's not leaving empty-handed. She's got that bag. She's got her witch's broom. She's got her cat. Like, she's not leaving empty-handed. She's just saying, these are not the right things for me. But I'm going to choose myself ultimately because I do know what to do. I do know what I want. The guidance from source for your action is to integrate your knowing. You do know what your next step is. You may not be aware of it yet, but you do know what your next step is. And then it's time to let the things come to you, because the guidance from source is to nourish the sacred feminine. To nourish the sacred feminine. So, yes, I feel like there is a lot of action-oriented things that have happened in the past, a lot of trying to choose. That's also an action, right? To choose. The sacred feminine, the sacred feminine asks us to slow down. The sacred feminine asks us to be fluid and flexible and flowy and free and creative. But I feel like that's where this is going. And I feel like the sacred feminine is also very intuitive as well, which is why they want you to integrate your knowing. So I'm going to read from the guidebook here. So, integrate your knowing. The essential meaning is introspection, finding soul purpose, the benefits of spending time alone, a thinker, nurturing your spirit, your innate inner knowing, instinct, intuition, holism, and the integration of many parts and wisdom. So again, choosing yourself, spending time alone, right? The self-care message, if that doesn't make sense, is feeling isolated, alone, a time to collaborate or reach out with others, to others for help, a warning to trust your gut, again, that intuition, the importance of recognizing your deepest goals, a tendency to be too much of a hermit. You are a spiritual being with animal instincts and resources inside of you to totally rock this life. Integrate all of your wisdom as you navigate your current situation. The fox has many traits. The fox has many traits that guide his joyful life. He's clever and cunning, aloof yet adorable, instinctual, wise, and creative, and he calls upon all of these diverse aspects of self to calibrate his inner guidance system. He lives and moves as a whole being, and that is where his magic lies. Your wholeness will be more compelling than any one aspect of you. So again, like, this is all the things that were on the table, right, or up in the air, right? And then she leaves them all on the table because she's choosing her whole self, her wholeness. Okay. Oh, I love it. Okay. So, okay. I love this. Okay. Oh my God. Your answer lies in adding your options together and making something new out of them. There is no need to pick a single alternative, nor to niche or focus on one tiny aspect of who you are. Your pure integrated essence radiates magic like nothing else does. It's time to infuse your book of knowledge with your own innate wisdom. You do know what to do. Meditate on your situation anew, refusing to fixate on past negative memories and choosing to focus on present possibilities. Spending time in quiet reflection will allow you to really hear what your whole heart advises. Again, choosing with your heart, what did I say at the beginning of the reading? Make like a hermit and spend some introspective time with your inner sage. Are you happy where you're headed? Are you living a life that feels soul satisfying? Are you cutting off any important aspects of you that need to be integrated into your plan? Ooh, good Lord. Okay, that was really good. I love it. Okay, and interestingly enough, the next card is Nourish Your Sacred Feminine, which is number 18. So if you add 9 and 9, it's 18. So it's like doubling up on that message, I think, of what this whole reading is about. It's a culmination of everything. So the essential meaning is yin, inner knowing of the unconscious mind, listening to your intuition, showing unconditional love, fertility, prophetic dreams, circadian cycles and phases of the moon, wisdom, tradition, co-creation, nurturing, teaching, healing, using your emotions as a guide, facilitating new relationships. The self-care message is illusions, fears, anxiety about the unknown, potentially missing something that you can't see, a time to let go of negative self-talk and to tap into your innate inner knowing, again, innate inner knowing, work to be done on the shadow self. Again, all of the re's coming up, right? Revisit, renew, revitalize, retreat, with all of these planets in retrograde. Now is a time for deep introspection as you wait for an idea to grow and develop. You've planted seeds, and sometimes divine timing requires a period of rest and things to culminate and ripen. So if you're listening to all of these readings, I feel like this, and you listen to the first reading and you're like, some of that makes sense. I feel like the universe is like doubling down on that message, like wait for the seeds to grow. Like in creation, like things take time and they're not ready until they're ready. And sometimes things don't grow so other things can. Sometimes we have to release the parts that aren't growing to make way for the things that can grow. Again, the wholeness, the whole part of you, right? Oh, okay. You've planted the seeds, and sometimes divine timing requires a period of rest as things culminate and ripen. The moon asks you to be open and receive, to reflect, to pause, to collapse into waiting. She is the waning crest that casts a moonlit glow. She is the waning crest that casts a moonlit glow over the landscape of your life. She has trickled light onto your path, but only very dimly. That's why you can't see what's going on, because she hopes that you will listen for the subtle signs and the wise whispers that are all around you. So maybe everything's going wrong right now and everything's like kind of slowing down or coming to a halt, or everything seems chaotic and you can't really see where you're at right now, but it's so that you could feel your way out of it, so that you can know your way out of it versus get the answer from outside of you. Oh, I got the chills when I said that. It's time to look directly into the shadows and any lingering wounds that may continue to affect your current understanding. Remember that in the dark, it's easy to follow fear and illusion out of proportion. Don't strain to see what you cannot see right now. Instead, focus on your inner knowing and on what you can see. So if everything's going wrong right now for you and there's so much up in the air, don't focus on the things that are up in the air or the things that may come. Again, that first reading, focus on the things that you can control right now, but feel your way into them. Allow your intuitive nudges and any persistent feelings to help you translate her gentle illuminations. You must trust yourself. Ooh. What does sacred feminine mean to you? Do you have any other ways of naming this energy? And how do you nourish the receptive, intuitive state? Do you tend to favor strategy or intuition? How do you decide? It is so funny. And how do you decide? The first card is the decision, like making that choice. But just know that if this is hard for you, if you feel very lost on your path and you don't know how to integrate your knowing, you don't even know how your intuition speaks with you, to you, for you, through you, then the chakra balancing breathwork journey is where you need to be. And if that's something that you're not able to make an investment in, then the other thing I would suggest for you is an intuitive energy healing session. In that 2-hour session, that's kind of the closest thing that I can compare to the chakra balancing breathwork journey. Whereas the chakra balancing breathwork journey is more like a holistic, let's get through like all of the blocks and all of the chakras. The intuitive healing session, those are 2-hour sessions where we combine breath work and Reiki and aromatherapy and tarot, and we combine all of those modalities to help you get to a place where you leave feeling lighter. I would say 99% of people that do an intuitive healing session with me, whether it's virtually or in person, feel like when they leave, they've lifted a weight off of their shoulders. And it's a ton of stuff that they've been carrying that they didn't even know that they were carrying. So if the chakra balancing breathwork journey isn't an investment that you're ready to make, or you want to tiptoe your way into the chakra balancing breathwork journey, then you'll want to check out the intuitive healing sessions. Again, you can do those in person or virtually. If you're in Houston, I do suggest that you do it in person. However, I have done these online. I've done these before, like back since I started doing breath work, and they are just really transformational. They help people really get to what is going on underneath the surface and really release stuff so that they can feel lighter and find ways to move forward. So I hope you enjoyed these readings as much as I enjoy doing them. If you did enjoy the reading and something did resonate for you, please leave a comment below, save this video, like this video so that you have something to go back to. Even if shit's not going wrong for you right now and everything's going really well, save this video so you have something to kind of listen to. I do listen back to some of the readings that I do, because when I am personally reading for you, I'm not in a space where I'm taking it in for myself. This is more like I guess a channeled message, because I'm saying they. And so anyways, sometimes I go back and listen to these readings and I'm like, wow, I needed to hear that right now. So even if you don't need to hear this right now, you may need to hear it later on. So go ahead and save the video. If you're not already subscribed, please click on this subscribe button. Click on the notification bell. This really does help the channel grow. My channel's been slowly, very, very slowly growing, and I am so appreciative of each and every single one of you. Right now that things are still really small, I do answer all of my comments. I do answer all of my emails. And so if there's a question that you have, if you want to take a little bit of a deeper dive, you could also book a free discovery call that I'll link in the description box below. But if you want to watch more tarot readings, click on this playlist here so that you can watch more from me. That's it for now. I'll be back next week with I don't know what, because who knows what's going to happen. But that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.